My name is Kish. I'm a furniture designer, a retailer, and an interior designer as well. Inspiration is very important because the start of everything. Aside from that, it is also very important that you have a very clear point of view, because if you have a clear point of view, you know which inspirations you can actually use and develop a design. Inspirations all over. You can find it anywhere. Either you're just walking or you're reading a book or traveling, you can actually find inspiration. But to a certain point, you have to filter that, because your inspiration should work closely together with your own point of view. So that's also very important. Traveling is a way of getting inspired. I remember I was in Spain, in Alhambra, and I saw furniture. And because my DNA is very Filipino, I saw a chair that reminded me of wood carving from Pampanga. And because Spain and the Philippines, in a way, has a very special relationship, it was an inspiration for me to create a chair that inspired by the chair that I saw in Alhambra. When I started designing, it was in 2012. I started designing by having this little black book that even if I go to sleep, it's next to me. Because I can wake up in the middle of the night, I can dream about something. I start with writing the date of the day and the time that the idea popped up in my mind. And then I start doing a little bit of doodling and everything, and then add some notes that I remember from my dream or from my travels. If I'm traveling, I always carry it with me. It's still with me. There are a lot of drawings in the black book that I have not yet explored, and they're just all concepts in there. That's part of my creative process. Roughly about 12 collections ever since I started about 10 years ago. The very first one was the baluster collection. The baluster collection was inspired by the balustres. These are the ventilations used for Bahay na Bato on the second floor. And as a way to pay homage to my family, I named the entire collection after my mother and her sisters. So there was, the name were Concesa, Flora, Gregoria, Francisca, Romana, and Elpidia. And later on, the only brother who died very, very young was added, and his name is Reyes. So even the last name was very Filipino. I was very inspired by the baluster because growing up in the province also, I am very familiar with that material. And the Gregoria, which is the key piece of the collection, was named after my mother because it's sort of like my way of thanking her. Because if you can remember how the Gregoria looks like, it looks very grand. So for me, it's my way of paying respect to her by giving her a chair that is very, very grand. So when I was very young, growing up in San Pablo City in Laguna, our dining chairs are all made of sulihia. And when it's soiled, she can easily pull out one, squat in the garage, get the strips of rattan, and she'll start weaving. I was very amazed because that time I think she was already in her 80s. That's why I named my Basilisa collection after her. Basilisa, that's my maternal grandmother. But at the same time, at the back of my mind when I was working on it, how do you protect the weave so that you don't have to change it every now and then? So if you notice, the Basilisa, the seats of the Basilisa have wooden parts. And the reason for that is the weight basically will be carried by the wooden brakes and not really the suliya. The suliya is secondary in terms of it's just really for the aesthetics. But the wooden brakes, if you notice, it's really to support the weight so that you don't have to change the rattan. I realized and I learned when I started, creativity is one, and there's also the business side of it. Focus in something that you're good at. If you're creative, try to focus on the creativity because you don't want to be bothered by whether there's enough money, there's proper marketing. Work with somebody who's good in the business side and focus on the creative side. You will not be able to concentrate and focus on design if you are bothered by other issues like money, production, logistics, and all that stuff. Always open your eyes when you travel because ideas, inspirations are all over the place. Even if you're in a bus, even if you're just walking around, even if you're just reading. So ideas are all over. Get inspired. Don't limit your process of creativity by eliminating all the questions first. Focus on the creative side. And if you can work with somebody who can run your company by working with someone with a very good business sense, do it. That's very important. And that should really help you and give you the opportunity to really come up with so many wonderful designs.